the channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela. I'm located in Central Mississippi, growing zone 8B. And on this channel, I show you how we balance self-sufficiency with modern living. And today we're actually going to do a quick update on our companion planting, how the garden's looking, and any pest or any damage like that that we're seeing. Alrighty, up first, we're going to just kind of roll through our pepper bed really quick. As you can see, the marigolds are blooming now, and then our basil kind of got bit back just a little bit, but overall the pepper plants are doing really nice. You can see just a little bit of sun scald damage on a couple of my leaves, and that was because I took down the shade cloth that was over these. We've just received so much rain that there was just really no point for the shade cloth to be up anymore. But that is to be expected, and the sun scald is a little bit of my fault because of that. Also, you do see some damage on the leaves. We've had a lot of grasshoppers and things like that bouncing around. I'm not really worried about any of the holes on the leaves because I am doing an organic garden, so real food has holes sometimes. That's just the way it is. Plants struggle a little bit, especially with how cold and hot that we've been lately. So my peppers did struggle just a tad bit. They did drop their flowers through our cold nights. We got down to about 50 degrees a couple of nights. So they did drop some of their flowers, and these are my bell peppers, y'all. But I do see lots of new little baby bell peppers, and I actually see the baby bell peppers, not the flowers that are on there. So I do see that some of them have held on to their flowers and they're producing fruit. But like I said, with these, some damage, some pest damage is to be expected just because we are doing this organically. So, with the damage that I'm seeing, like you can see this right here, with the damage I'm seeing, I'm not really worried about it. If I see it on my fruit, then that's when I'll kind of take that next step. But at the moment, I'm not really worried about this. I am doing a regular spraying of BT all throughout my garden just because we're at that time of year where you have the little moths are flying around, you have tomato hornworms, things like that that would really attack my garden. They would decimate my peppers, they would decimate my tomatoes. So I just want to do a preventative spray with that. And then also I'm doing that preventative spray because I have been seeing lots of vine borers flying around my squash plants. It's not very many anymore, but at first they were. I was coming out here on a daily basis and seeing them flying around. So what I did, sorry y'all, a wasp decided it wanted to come at me, and I don't play with wasps. So okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so vine borers, I was seeing them on a daily basis, but every time I come out here, I remove the eggs. I distinguished or not distinguished, I disposed of every vine borer that I seen, so I didn't have to worry about them for future. But some of my squash did get hit, and I'll show you that as we go through it. Alrighty, moving on over to the first front set of tomato beds. These tomatoes are looking really well. Our basil has started to flower, and as you can see, the bugs have kind of been chomping on the basil, but that's okay because that's one of the reasons I planted it. You can see my tomatoes, for the most part, look really nice. They're doing really good and healthy, and the bug damage is mostly on my basil plant. So I'm happy with this. My marigolds are looking really good too, and then our zinnias have even started to open up. But we do have lots of tomatoes that are starting to form, so I'm really happy with these. Our green beans over here are doing really good. I haven't seen any aphid damage or anything like that on those. Just walking through, like I said, I haven't seen too much damage. But my what is this? My butternut squash plant has just been completely avoided by the vine borer. I don't know if it hasn't found it or what, but there have been zero vine borer eggs on this butternut squash plant. So I am very happy for that. I've come out here again, I've come out here daily, gone through it just to make sure that it is staying healthy. So it is staying healthy, it's doing great, and we have lots of nice sized fruit that's coming on there. I don't know if you can see that big one down there. And then we have lots of little babies up here that's coming along really well. But there is some damage to the leaves. Again, that's to be expected with a organic garden. Alrighty, folks. So on yesterday, I did notice some of the leaves on my Kajari melon are kind of drooping like this right here. I have seen the squash beetles on here. I do know that they've kind of attacked this plant for whatever reason, but I have sprayed it and I'm kind of taking care of that now. And I'm hoping that I caught it in time so that it doesn't get too badly affected. I mean, because we do have little fruits that are already forming on here. I don't know if you can see that one right there. So we have that one, and then there is another little baby fruit that was somewhere. I don't remember. Oh, it's right there. Right there. So, I mean, that we have that going on. Like I said, I've sprayed this yesterday. I'm hoping that I caught it in time just because yesterday was the first time that I seen the leaves like this. Other than that, all the leaves were up and perky like the rest of these, but you could see some of the damage that they've done. So I'm really a little bit disappointed in that, and I wish I would have caught it and seen it just a little bit sooner. But it is what it is, just as long as I treat it and I treat it moving forward. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to take and I'm going to snip off all of these affected leaves, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that right now because I actually have some clippers in my thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come where the leaf meets the plant and snip it. They're going to fall on the floor for right now, but I'm going to come back and clean all that up. So all the ones that are drooping and stuff, I'm just going to go through, find where they meet the plant, and snip them off just like that right there. That way I can keep my plant happy. Well, it's not happy, but keep it healthy for as long as possible. So, and I'm hoping, the hope is that with me taking these leaves off of it, the damaged leaves and stuff, when I'm taking them off, that it will help the plant stay a little bit healthier longer. So I will come through shortly and I'm going to do that. And again, this is on the Kajari melon only. It's not done that with any of my other ones, but for some reason they have attacked this one. So I've been spraying with BT, and then as I come out here, if I see any of the beetles on here, I go ahead and pull them off and dispose of them very, very quickly. And yeah, so the thing is now just to treat and keep a close eye on it to make sure that it can go ahead and get the fruit produced that is already on there at the very least. If not, my hope is to save the plant, but right now we're just waiting to see because you can see it's already climbed up this trellis from down there to way up here. So I'm hoping I can save the plant. Alrighty, moving right along. I'm actually in the process of kind of most of my potatoes are dying back, so I have dug up this little corner right here because we wanted some potatoes for dinner the other night. So I dug that up, but I do have the rest of this bed that I need to dig up, but I'm going to let them die back just a little bit more before I do that. And the potatoes that I found out of here, they're on another video, but they were really nice size, so I'm really happy with those. I just found that I don't really care too much for the red potatoes, and this little section right here was the only section that had red potatoes in it. That middle section has Yukon Golds, and then that last section over there has the Mystic purple that's in there. I really do like the Mystic purple, and I like the Yukon Golds as well. So I know my hope is I get a good harvest off of those two, since I do like those potatoes. But I do know moving forward, the only time I like red potatoes is in crawfish, and that'll be the only time that I make those, use those. Alrighty, up next we have our watermelon plants, and as you can see, they have come off the edge of the bed. They are vining their way through all of here. They've gone to the back side of the bed, and I do know that we have several little fruits on here already. Let's see. Oh, there's one right there. There's another little guy right there. There's a couple throughout there, and then there was some in here. Like this is just a mixture of the hybrid um hybrid melon, watermelon, and these sugar babies. So they're just kind of all intermixed right here. I'm not sure which one's which, just because both of them. This is the sugar baby section right here. It just come off the side of the bed and is going this way. This is the hybrid melon section right here on the back side of this lovely uh marigold that's going crazy. So that's the hybrid melon side. So like I said, I'm just letting them come off the bed and they're just kind of flying through here doing their own thing up both ways. I'm just trying to keep it a little close to the bed, not out in the middle of the walkway. So I'm just coming through and kind of kicking them to the side so that I can keep this walkway section right here clear. Up next, we're going to talk about my chayote or mirliton plant. This plant has not been hit by the vine borers either, so I'm very happy for that. This is the bigger one, and then I actually found today that my other one has finally sprouted. You can barely see it, but it's this little stick right here is coming up to the trellis, so that should be up here and crazy, just like this one is very, very soon. So, but like I said, I have not found any vine borer eggs on this. The vine borer, I haven't even seen it flying around it. So I'm like, letting it sit here and do its thing. Now you will notice we do have the radishes in here and they're all thick and lush. So I think that that has helped tremendously just because I have those radishes planted around the bottom side of those mirlitons or the chayote squash. They're planted down in there, and that has kind of helped prevent or help protect those chayotes and mirlitons from the vine borer just a little bit. As you can see, the pumpkins that were here, the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins that were here, they are no longer here anymore. These pumpkins and the sugar pumpkins that were planted over by my uh, tomatoes, I made the executive decision to remove those plants. And the reason that I did that is I found that the vine borer was attracted to those plants, and I found so many vine borer eggs on there that it really wasn't even funny. So I said I'm going to leave those as a trap crop. So I left them for as long as possible until they started showing vine borer damage, and once they did, I cut them off at soil level and I actually fed those to my chickens. So they had a really nice meal off of vine borer eggs and the greenery and all that stuff from those pumpkin plants. But like I said, I was willing to sacrifice those 4 plants just because they were taking up this whole area. And to be honest, it's not really vine borer. I'm not vine borer. I'm so sorry. It's not pumpkin seed time to plant pumpkins just yet. In our area, if we want to have pumpkins for Halloween, it's best to plant them around the end of June, beginning of July. That way you have enough time for them to grow, establish, and grow the pumpkins for Halloween. So that's what I'm going to do. I will be starting my next round of pumpkins for to put into the ground for July, and at that time I won't even have to worry about the vine borer at that point because it would have passed its life cycle by then. So but right now I was willing to sacrifice those. My chickens got a good meal out of it, so it is what it is with that. My okra is looking really good, but again, y'all, just like anything, it has holes in the leaves and stuff like that, which is to be expected, but they are growing really, really nicely. As you can see, they have new growth on them. They're growing nicely. They got some height to them. So I'm happy with them and I'm just letting them do their things. Um, our Armenian cucumber that's in the bucket back here. As you can see, it looks pretty bad. This is intentional on my part. I am coming through and spraying this with the BT, but the plan for this particular plant was to be my trap crop anyway, only because I don't really eat the Armenian cucumbers. The only reason I was growing them as is as a trap crop, and then also whatever fruit did end up developing was just going to be thrown to my chickens. So you can see they've kind of been decimated by something out here. Little flies, grasshoppers, whatever, they've kind of come over here and attacked this. Also, cucumber beetles. For whatever reason, cucumber beetles, I have found, love this plant. So they come over here and they're leaving my other items alone, but they're attacking this. So again, since I'm not really don't well, it's not that I don't like the Armenian cucumbers. It was, like I said, it was just a sacrificial plant. So I will go ahead and let the bugs do what they want to with this one. I'll come out every now and again and spray, just because I don't want to get the bugs out of hand or the pests to get out of hand. So this is more or less my sacrificial plant. Alrighty, moving right along. This squash plant, like I said, I've come out here and I have found vine borer eggs on this squash plant, but I have been picking them off diligently, so there is no vine borer damage at the base of the plant. It looks really good. The plant is still healthy and good. Again, we do have our damage from the bugs that are coming and eating on the leaves, which I do think some of the damage that's on here is from wasp also, because I've been seeing like the paper wasp coming and like chewing on the leaves some, but I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong with that. So, but like I said, there's holes in the leaves. Um, my pepper plants that are right here, these are two lemon drop plants. They were being shaded out by the leaves from the squash plant, so the tops don't look very nice because of that fact. But I did go ahead and cut back the squash plant, and I've kind of cut back the cucumber that's right there as well, just to kind of open this up to give them a little bit of room and to give them a little bit of so they can get a little bit of sun down in there. And since I've done that, they are starting to look a little bit better, and they're starting to get some more new growth on them. Uh, moving along, my tomatoes are still doing great. They're growing like I don't know what, because we've had so much rain here lately. So they're doing their things. They all have really nice tomatoes on them. So, ooh, there's one that's not looking so great. Let's see here. Looks like we have some bug damage on one of the tomatoes. Not exactly sure what did this. I think possibly a bird or something come through and pecked it. Some bugs got in there, and then it just started dying back, because that's not on the immediate bottoms for it to be blossom end rot. So I'm not exactly sure what happened with that, but I'll go ahead and I will pull this off, and then I'll end up throwing it out to my chickens so that they can have that for a snack. Alrighty, moving right along. On this side, again, the tomatoes are doing really good. We have this jumbled mess that's under here is actually my, um, well, this is where the sugar pumpkins were. I cut those back just like I did the jack-o'-lanterns. Now that jumbled mess that's under there is my cantaloupe. Instead of having the cantaloupe spread out here on the floor, my thought was is just to move them up onto the bed. They can crawl along under these tomatoes and do their thing all through there. And if they take over that space, I don't really mind. So I'm just letting them do their thing. And as you can see, here's one part of the jumble mess of that. And again, there is some damage to the leaves. Organic gardening, you have to expect some type of damage, just because you are doing this organically. If you was to come through and just spray and have all kinds of pesticides and things on your plants, then you're kind of defeating the purpose of having an organic garden. So I rather deal with the holes and deal with a little bit of damage and have the nice quality food that I have. Now moving on to this cucumber plant, it's doing really well. We actually have our first sets of cucumbers that are on here. Let me see if I can find them for you. Ah, here they are right here. We have one right there. There's another right over here on this side. So we have two cucumbers that are doing their thing, and then we have lots of little females and little baby cucumbers that are all throughout here. So this one is moving right along and doing its thing and producing fruit for us just like we want it. Trying to keep it trained up onto this trellis. Some of them want to cooperate with me, and some of the little stems don't want to cooperate with me. But yeah, so it is what it is. Our cucamelon down here at the bottom is finally putting on a lot of new growth. So it is growing and it's going to be heading up this trellis, and then I will be pulling some of these back and pushing them back over this way so it does not take over this whole side, so that cucamelon can have something to hold on to. Our gem corn's doing really nice. Pest damage. As far as pest damage on our uh eggplant, yeah, this is our finger eggplant. I did struggle heavily with flea beetles on this, so I'm having to keep diatomaceous earth sprinkled on this all the time, just because the flea beetles have been so bad. And they've attacked this plant, but I've found them hiding under the black-eyed Susan and on my under my daisies down there for whatever reason. I don't know why they've decided just to attack my eggplant. They attack my eggplant every year. It's like they find it and that's all she wrote. But the plan is I only have this one. I plan to protect it as much as possible. So I cut off all of the damaged leaves and I'm keeping diatomaceous earth sprinkled on it. So far, the new leaves that are coming in do not have any holes or anything like that from the flea beetles. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. And y'all, the zinnias are finally starting to pop. So I'm really happy with that, with seeing all the pretty zinnias around. All right, moving right along. We have our squash plants that are here. The vine borers actually did end up hitting two of my plants. They had two of them that do have vine borer damage, but for the most part, all of them are looking really good. They have really nice stems down at the bottom. I'm not seeing any vine borer damage down at the bottom with several of them. But like I said, there is one or two of them here that's not looking the best. I'm trying to see if I can get in there and show you. That one's not looking the best. This one right here, you can kind of see the discoloration along the bottom side of it, and then how it looks at the stem of the plant down there. That's vine borer damage, so it's not looking the best right there, as opposed to like this one right here. You can see it's nice and green and healthy, along with that one right there. And then this one over here is the other one that the vine borer hit up. So what will be happening is those plants have some nice fruit on them right now. I will be, once they finish fruiting, they look like they have start having some serious issues. I will go ahead and I will cut those plants out and throw them to the chickens, and I will keep the healthier ones. Now on these right here, these I still have not staked these up, guys. Don't come at me, I promise. I will do it one day. It's just it's I haven't had time. It's just been so crazy. I've had to start doing my harvest, so trying to harvest and keep up with family life and keep up with garden, it can be difficult at times. But I have been diligently coming out here every day and taking off the vine borer eggs from these plants. I have gone 2 days without seeing any vine borers. These wasps are just crazy today, though. I have gone 2 days without seeing any vine borers, so I'm going to come through, do my sweep through for look for vine borer eggs, but the vine borer eggs have not gotten to any of these yellow squash through here. It's just the zucchinis. I guess I must have missed one or two of them. They hit the stems up. I'm still, even though that they are already hit by the vine borers, I'm still going through and checking the leaves and checking the plants over just to make sure that there are no others on there, and I'm just dealing with that one. I am spraying them with BT, and I've actually come out and taken a little bit of BT and injected it into the stem. So my hope is that with that little bit that I injected into the stem, that helps the plant stay alive longer and it killed back the vine borer, but only time will tell for me on that. But as of right now, it has looked like that. The stems have looked like that for probably about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, and the plant has not started dying back from the top. I don't see any sign of dieback or anything like that. Again, I see the issues with holes from bugs and stuff like that, but again, it's to be expected with an organic gardening. So they're looking good. I'm going to let them stay in as long as possible. If I see any other damage or the damage seems to be progressing, then I'll just go ahead and I'll rip them out. But right now, all of these squash will stay in here. You can see the little bees flying around. Y'all, this year I have seen so many bees in my garden, and I'm just absolutely loving it. All right, moving on. The blueberries are still coming along great. My only thing is I'm gonna have to watch for birds whenever they start turning colors, but I'm fine with that for now. I'm willing to share my blackberries, but I'm not willing to share my blueberries because I only got so many. Uh, my strawberries, slugs have kind of come through, and slugs are doing their thing daily and just kind of driving me nuts, but it is what it is. I'm coming through. I'm picking as often as I can. I'm trying to wait to the exact moment that they're ripe, pick them at that moment, and get them out of there before slugs can get them. But sometimes the slugs beat me to them. So, but it is what it is. I'm just doing what I can. My serranos and jalapenos that are right here, they're doing really good. We actually just got a harvest off of these the other day. As far as the tomatoes and the carrots and the celery that's through here, all of this is doing really, really well. There's not been any really much bug damage to the leaves or anything. The celery is continuously looking great. I haven't had any issues with the carrots. They're putting on size, and I actually ended up pulling some of them the other day. I need to come through and do a harvest of celery to make my sea salt, but right now my one of my dehydrators has onions in it for onion powder because I did a onion harvest the other day, and then the other dehydrator has some what do you call it? Has some oregano in it because I had to cut back my oregano pretty heavily. But yeah, everything's looking really great on these. So I don't have any issues with these. Uh my tomatillos are looking really awesome. Y'all can see all the little wasp and bees and stuff flying around on there. They're doing their thing and they're making me more tomatillos. So I'm good with them. You see the little paper wasp and some of the red wasps that are on there. I don't mind them being on these and doing that and pollinating my plants just because while some wasps are really good pollinators, it's when you come to your hornets and your yellow jackets and stuff like that, I don't really like those. So if I do find any of those out here, I will go ahead and uh, demolish them. But like my bees, the red wasps, paper wasps, things like that, um, parasitic wasps, I will leave those alone. Let them go through my garden, do their thing, whatever they want to do. And as you can see, I have lots of tomatillos that are forming down here at the bottom. So I'm good with that. You know, a bug just landed on me. Oh my goodness. So, well, we're gonna move on from that and let those wasp and the bee do their thing. Now, this little area is the new area that I put together. We have our crimson watermelons that will be growing in here, and kind of the goal of that is to let them grow out of these bags, and they will kind of fill in whatever is open in this area over here. I have several baby cucumbers on these two bush variety cucumbers right here. So they're doing good. I haven't seen much damage on them at all. I do know that they did struggle just a little bit at the very beginning of the season, but they have picked up tremendously. And as you can see, they're kind of outgrowing their stuff and they're doing their thing now. These pepper plants, we did get a couple harvests off of a couple jalapenos harvested off of some of these. So they're doing good in these buckets and these fabric pots. So they're doing really great back here. Um, our determinate tomatoes, as you can see, they're kind of turning a little bit of an orangish, yellowish orange color. So they should be starting to turn very soon. Our Barbados cherry, it didn't really like the cold at first, but as you can see, it is really starting to flower. It has several little flowers on here, and I'm really excited to be able to get a Barbados cherry off of this, y'all, because if you've never had a Barbados cherry, they are absolutely delicious and super sweet. I love them. And I really thank my friend's brother that gave me this tree. I've kept it alive for 2 years now, and I love these. I got Barbados cherries the first year, and then I got one last year. So the plan is this year I fertilized it really well. I cut it back. I pruned it back really nicely, kept it really well protected over the winter time, and as you can see, it has flowers all over it. Well, you can't really see, but I see the flowers all over it, and I'm really excited to get a Barbados cherry again, some Barbados cherries off this tree. All right, moving on. My potatoes are starting to die back, so they're looking a little diseased, but and worse for wear because they're dying back. Our cucumber back here, the hybrid cucumber that we have set up back here, you can see we have lots of cucumbers on here. We have them all the way down the plant. We have lots of them. You can see them hanging down there all the way to down here. So we have lots of cucumbers on here. This plant hasn't really suffered much damage. There's been no cucumber beetles on it. There's just, I've seen a couple of like grasshoppers, the stuff that cuts the leaves. I've seen those come through and cut the leaves, but that's been about it. Again, organic gardening, so it is what it is. The potatoes right here, these are dying back as well. So it's almost time for a really huge harvest of potatoes. And I'll bring you along as I do that huge harvest. Like I said, we just did that short little corner the other day for dinner, and that was about it. But yeah, that's going to be it. Alrighty, guys, that's going to be it for the follow up on companion planting and just kind of seeing what's going on in the garden. Overall, I am very, very pleased with how my companion planting has gone this year. There has been some damage, but to be honest, that was to be expected only because if you're doing an organic garden, you cannot go into it expecting no damage at all. I was planning to lose some plants because I knew that that was a possibility. Because again, trying to do this organically without pesticides is very hard. Um, well, it's not so much hard; it's planting the right things and being diligent about coming and checking your plants. That's what I'm going to say about it. It's all about being diligent, coming to check your plants, being out in your garden, being an active gardener in your garden. That's going to be the best pest control. There we go. Yeah, being an active gardener in your garden is the absolute best pest control. Companion planting, things like that do help, but to really prevent things is to get out there, see what's going on, and take those organic steps in order to prevent any other damage from happening. So I do have a lot of future videos coming out. I will show you how I make several of my tinctures, things like that, things I use on a daily basis. As the produce starts coming out of the garden, I will start doing a couple of cooking videos. Well, cooking canning videos, I guess you could say, because I'll show how I make like my spaghetti sauce. I know a lot of people from my church, from local areas, if they've ever had my spaghetti, they absolutely love my spaghetti sauce, and I'll be showing everybody how I do that. I don't eat spaghetti, so I don't, to be honest, I really can't tell you how good it is because I don't like spaghetti. And y'all, I promise y'all are gonna be like, oh my god, she's so weird. I know I'm weird. I own it, so I'm good with it. I don't like basil. I don't eat spaghetti sauce, any of that stuff. I'm just gonna own it. I'm weird. So, but hey, there's other weird people out there too. So, well, All right, so with that, we've kind of followed up on everything. The bees are out and active out here. I need to get a couple things done before I go inside for the day. So, yeah, I think that's going to be about it for today. So, from my garden to yours, happy gardening, and y'all have a great one.